forget that point.
Well, just to comment on that, I just think that this feeding, this truthfulness that's happening, and the way that you prove to yourself that that's not naive, is actually to do it, to practice it for a while, and to see what happens. Mm-hmm. And the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the life. And I believe that one of those most amazing shifts in consciousness that's happening is this right brain firing up, so that we're really more in touch with what's an intuition, what's a fear thought, what's an ego thought, but what's an intuition? A higher part of our minds is kicking into action, mm-hmm. which means that the way it feels to the individual is that we're guided. Now, the ego doesn't want to hear that, so they say, well, that's, you're talking contrary to human nature and all this other silly stuff. But, it's a real phenomenon occurring, I'm convinced.
This is a time of right and left brain integration, and other people are saying it's the feminine and the masculine principle. It's finding, like Rumi said, that place beyond all notions of right and wrong where we can meet. And yes. I really think that your book could serve that beautifully, because and in fact, within the book you mention groups, and that you think that groups are the best way to proceed. I should think that this would be a great subject for a discussion group or a book club. Mm-hmm. What is your hope for the 12th Insight?
Well, I want people to do both, of course. At one level, it's a new set of practices for the individual. Mm-hmm. But at a certain point of the integration of all this, we know that it's amplified by our relation, the depth of our relationship with others. Not just because other people give us these magical synchronicities by telling us the right information at the right time, but because, it's more powerful that way. And of course, the central theme in this integration, this 12th Insight I'm describing, is the whole idea of influence. And I think as we it works this way. The old spiritual adage: if you're honorable over little, you're given much. And what that means is we have to be, if we center in a truthfulness about who we are, whether we think it's little or much at the time, it gets larger out of the sense that, and when we're centered in the truth of what's going on and who we are and our soul's dream and all that, it enlarges. And what happens with that is we gain more and more influence as a model for other people. Mm-hmm. In other words, consciousness is contagious. And that can be proven indisputably.
And it's probably exponential as you get it moving through groups. I think I've heard this number, 144,000 in other places, as being the sort of magical tipping point for the exponential explosion of the new consciousness.
Yeah. And I would certainly believe that that's the dynamic at hand. Mm-hmm. Now, whether it's 144,000 or whether it's some other multiple of 12, I don't know. But I do know that it's an individual decision. It has to start with the individual. You can, a group can pull it out of you, but you have to experience it yourself. Mm-hmm. And the dynamic out there right now is that it's something that feels as though a whole missing part of ourselves is being actualized. And again, it's that part of ourselves that is helped. That this greater wisdom that comes in as intuition, guidance, that we can, if we just start to practice following these intuitions, following these thoughts. Ask, why do I think that now? Mm-hmm. And if you can't figure out some logical series, and sometimes even if you can, you still have to identify a thought that just sort of drops in unexpectedly as a gift. And once you do, it's always call that old friend call that business contact you forgot to stay in touch with.
Or turn right instead of left.
That's right. Or browse the bookstore. But it's usually meeting a person in the elevator and having a sudden urge to want to strike up a conversation with them. And we have to boldly follow those intuitions if we want the rich synchronistic life that I think is our birthright.
Well, that's amazing. James, you have a website that you send people to who want to follow up on this.
Yes.
What is it?
Well, it's CelestineVision.com. You can also get there through the twelfth.insight.com. Or you can just Google James Redfield and I'll come up. So that's the easiest way.
Well, it's been a delight speaking with you today. Thank you so much for writing this wonderful book and for really being such an articulate voice for the new consciousness. I guess I have a vested interest in having it well articulated. And I can only hope that your vision actually materializes for the sake of all of us. So thank you, James.
Well, thank you. I've enjoyed it.
This is Miriam Knight for New Consciousness Review. I've been speaking with author James Redfield, author of The Celestine Prophecy, about his new book, The 12th Insight, out now. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.